Good morning. We are on lesson 3.8. It's another easy lesson and one of my favorite lessons. So if you want to take notes on this, you can just draw a simple graph. And we are talking about different quadrants of the graph. So this first graph is going to be quadrant 1. Also, it looks like this in your book and in your test. So quadrant 1, they use Roman numerals, and your coordinate pair, both of them are going to be positive. Okay, so of course you run on the positive numbers and you're jumping on the positive numbers. Both your numbers over here are going to be positive. It's going to just give you symbols. And it's going to say, if you have these two symbols in this order, is it in quadrant 1, 2, 3, or 4? And then just based on the symbols, you'll have to know that. So this is quadrant 2. And the ordered pair, you're going to have to run backwards. So it's going to be a negative number followed by a positive number. All right. Here's quadrant 3. Looks like that, and you're having to run backwards, and you're also having to dive when you're in this section. So both numbers, I know this kind of looks funny, but both numbers are going to be negative and negative. And then you have quadrant 4, and when you run, you're in the positive numbers, but then you have to dive, which is negative. So the first one is going to be a positive, and the second one is going to be a negative. Okay, make sure that you put this in your notes. It's very important. It will help you in the lessons. Okay, so let's look at number 2 on your book. Just a reminder, you are on page 187. So number 2, it says -5 and -6. So honestly, you don't even have to look at the numbers. You just have to see the symbols. And I see a negative and a negative. So the answer to number 2 in your book is quadrant 3. Okay, looking at problem number 3 in your book, it says 3, 7. 3, 7. I didn't see any negative numbers in front of that. So both of them are going to be positive. Here's my 2 positive symbols. So I know that the answer to number 3 in your book is quadrant number 1. Let's read the instructions for the second part. The 2 points are reflections of each other. Okay, that means if you have a point right here and you want to reflect it, that means flip it over, okay? And you want to flip it here, is it going to flip over the X line or is it going to flip over the Y line? So this one, which one does it jump over? It jumps over the X line. So on problem number 4, it said you have point 5, 3, which would be like 5, 3. And then the second one is -5, 3. -5, 3. And it says, what axis is it flipped over? So you have to ask yourself, what line did you jump over? Did you jump over the X line or did you jump over the Y line? And you jumped over the Y. Right here. Here's the Y line. So the answer to number 4 is the Y axis. Okay, going on to number 5. I'll erase these. Number 5 says -7, 1. So -7, 1. I'm just kind of estimating where that dot would be. And then number 5, part 2, it says -7, so I'm still running to -7. And then it says -1. So I'm diving down. So then it's asking which axis did you jump over, and you jumped over the X line. So the answer to number 5 in your book is X. All right, now it's asking you to give the coordinate. So it gives the first coordinate, and then it tells you what line it has to jump over, and then you have to give the answer. So, the very first one on number 7, -6, -10. -6, I'm gonna guess around here. -10, I'm gonna say is like way down here. Here's a helpful hint. I want you to just look at the numbers. So 6 and 10 are always going to be the numbers that you're going to be working with on this problem. If you go back and look at number 4 and number 5 and number 6, bless you, Mia. If you look at number 4, number 5, and number 6, they all have the same numbers. It's just that their symbols are changing. Okay, so on number 7, we did the -6, -10. And it wants you to flip over the y-axis, which is here. You need to jump over this line, okay? And the numbers need to stay in the same order. So I'm gonna run to 6, and I'm gonna dive to 10. So the answer to number 7 is now going to be +6, and then you dove down -10. And parentheses. Bless you. Everyone has the sneezes today. All right. I'll do one more practice with you on number 8, just so that you can get a good idea of it, and maybe do number 9 on your own. So number 8 is -11, +3. So that goes up here. All right. And it wants you to jump over the x-axis. So remember, you're just going to flip it over, and the numbers stay in the same order. So I'm running to -11, and now I have to go down, so that's more like -3. So this point, -11, -3. That's going to be your answer for number 8. Try and do number 9 on your own. Okay? Now we're skipping to your worksheet today. Number 1, if it says that the very first number is -1, it has a negative symbol in the first number. Does this one have a negative symbol in the first number? No. Does this one have a negative in the first number? Yes. So on your worksheet, it says what quadrant could if the first number is negative, what quadrant could it be in? And you can give me the first option, if you want to zoom in on this. So if the first number, or the x coordinate, is a -1, it can fit in quadrant 2, or what else? Which other one is negative? Here's the quadrant that's -x. And here is a quadrant that is -x. It can be either quadrant 2 or it can be quadrant 3. Okay? Then going to the y. The y coordinate, is that a negative number or is that a positive number? That's a positive number 5. So let's look over here. I see a second number. This is our second number. This is a positive number. So quadrant number 1, that's a possibility. Here's a positive number. That's a second option. Quadrant 2. Coordinate and quadrant get very mixed up. Okay, so for number 5, you could say it could fit into quadrant 1 or quadrant 2. And then I want you to find this point and then tell me where the actual quadrant would be. So -1, 5, I would run to -1. I would jump up 5, I would be in quadrant 2. Okay? You need to do that with 1, 2. I know that 1 and 2, the different quadrants are a little confusing. But number 3, 4, 5, and 6, those should be quite easy for you. Number 7, 8, 9, and 10, those are the ones where you have to say which line did it jump over. okay? And you do not have to do the back, okay? So you're only worrying about the front right now. Good luck, have an amazing day. See you later.